2011 for additional savings in order to avoid a tax increase to our neighbors. Kindly note that $17,000 can be saved by cutting budget lines for record management as well as Registrar for Vital Statistics, which is another $9,000. So you're right. There is fat in this budget. We need to get back to the drawing board. There's a motion on the table here. It's been seconded also. I implore that this town board vote on it now so we can put this to rest.
Sure. There is always fluff in a budget.
Yes,
there really is.
And I just found some more fluff.
And you can definitely combine duties of people who are working in a particular office. You can always combine. You really need to try and work with the people in the town of Southeast and reduce the percentage. You really need to look at it. And I think that if you all work together, by Saturday, we'll have a better budget. And I think everybody will be very happy with you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you. And I agree that there are cost savings relative to the preliminary budget, as noted. Relative to the preliminary, pardon me, Councilman Cullen, I have the floor. Thank you. Relative to the preliminary budget, which was the second draft. Again, as noted earlier, they increased the assessor's office by $35,000. They increased the legal by $40,000. This is over there, in addition to the amounts set forth in their second draft budget. These are additional enhancements. Why can't we cut those tonight?
I agree.
Or on Saturday, by Saturday. And there are other examples. These are just
Should we get a roll call vote?
these here tonight.
Just as far as the library, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did speak to the library director in the past, and from what I was led to believe, I am, the Brewster Library is part of the Mid-Hudson Library System. They pay money to the Mid-Hudson Library System to participate in that. That gives us the ability to go to other libraries and check out books in the Mid-Hudson Library System. Now, obviously, anyone could walk into any library, but I don't believe with the Mid-Hudson Library card you can go to Westchester and check out books.
Okay, Bob, there's a motion and a second.
No, I'm talking, Michael.
Go ahead.
All right, so that's the situation with the library. So that means, from what I was told from the library director, if we don't have a library and fund it, nobody would be allowed to use a library or to take out books in any library in the Mid-Hudson system. I also don't think it's fair that people in Southeast would have to be supported by people in the Mahopac or Carmel to go to the library. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't be too happy about that. And as far as the budget, I asked Supervisor Wrights, he started his budget in September, and you can go back to the tapes. I asked him in some of the meetings before he released his budget on September 30th if we could work together and you can give us your budget. It was on deaf ears. There was never any communication. He presented his budget to the town clerk on a Friday, September 30th, by law, and that was it. So we were left to then, as I say, clean up the mess because there was no communication with anybody, any department heads. Nobody knew. The library is very upset because they knew beforehand that there was going to be cuts. They could have tried to take some corrective action. There was no communication. There's no communication with the county as far as the assessing and the tax receiver. After he presented his budget, it is true, Michael, because I've seen the letter. And there's two county legislators here, and we could maybe ask them. But you went after the budget was presented on September 30th. You went in October to ask them if they could do the tax receiving and tax assessing services. And they told you their budget was already done and it can't be done. So this is typical, no follow-through. I think Rick Stockbridge hit it right on the head. Come next year, before, February, March, when the new county executive falls into place, we should sit down and talk with them. And as the letter says, if more than one town is willing to do it, this is something to do. But then again, the county's not going to do it for free because they're going to have to increase staff. So, so the county taxes are going to go up. So it's just something to think about. We have to look into it.
Can we read back my
Bob.
motion, please?
Bob, there's a motion and a second.
We need to, I think this lady's been standing here at the podium.
She wants to move on to the next item, that's why.
No. She's standing here. I'd like to hear her.
June, would you like to speak to the 2011 budget?
We've been sitting here tonight and we hear of the pain of cutting the budget and all the folks that have been affected in all different ways, all different departments. And we as seniors would feel very remiss if we did not come to the board in support of Ray Knox, who's been a faithful, loyal employee for all these years.
Thank you.
We know times are tough, but this man has been with us for so long, and we can't imagine the Recreation Department being without his artistry, his innovation, and he's just an integral part of that department. We can't believe that he's been let go, and we really wish you would give that position a reconsideration, because there must be some way. Hours could be cut or hours could be combined, but some way that you could keep him. I mean, he's a really loyal, good man and a good servant, and he's been wonderful for the seniors.
Thank you, Jim.
May I also present to you, we have about 50 names here that we signed in tonight, and there's another paper going around tomorrow. And next week also, everybody is eager to sign in support of Ray.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you.
I also want to mention, I've been asked to reiterate that someone mentioned earlier in the meeting that the STAR program might be eliminated, and I've been advised that that is not true. And I guess that's all we have to say, but we were happy to come forth and support. I wish there were other folks being able to support the other folks that have lost their jobs today, and I sympathize with the board having to go out and deliver that message. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. There's a motion and a second.
I would like to also say that I think that Mr. Knox has provided a great service to this community over the years. I've personally known him and his family, and it truly is something that is a very difficult loss at this time. I just wanted to say that.
Can we read back my motion, please?
You would like to defer the vote and have another meeting on Saturday after it's noticed, and it would be a special meeting.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Cullen.
No.
Councilwoman Hudak.
No.
Councilman... I can't hear votes. Councilman Yee.
Yes.
Councilman Gross.
There are logistical reasons why we cannot have the meeting over the weekend. I vote no.
Supervisor Wrights.
Yes, motion is defeated.
3 to 2.
3 votes to 2.
Okay.
Then I'll make a second motion. Can we do it for Sunday?
Now, Sunday would be...
I second the motion.
So I'll make a second motion that we defer this until Sunday due to the logistical reasons that Mr. Gross had mentioned, and that we defer this and put the town board on notice for Sunday for a special meeting to review the budget again.
And I reiterate my second. Is there a roll call vote, please, Ruth?
Well, just so I can, before
Discussion.
you vote, if I could point out, I think that the statute says that if the budget is not adopted by the 20th of the month, that the preliminary budget is adopted by law.
Very good. Then we'll have a 4.5% to 5% property tax increase in lieu of a 10%.
Because of a technicality?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I keep my motion on the floor then.
Yes.
So which, the budget we're dealing with right now, or the second budget?
The second budget, the
The
preliminary.
second draft, which is called the preliminary, would be the operative budget. And the tax increase would be about 5% in lieu of about 10%. Roll call
Roll
vote, please,
call vote
Ruth.
on,
Councilman Cullen.
No.
Councilman Gross.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Hudak.
No.
Councilman Yee.
yes.
Councilman Gross.
No.
Supervisor Wrights.
Yes. Motion is defeated, 3 votes to 2.
Okay, then I'm going to be making a motion to adopt the budget, the 2011 adopted budget.
I'll
Is
second
there a
that.
second? Councilman Gross seconds. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Ruth.
Councilman Cullen.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Councilwoman Hudak.
I heard someone say about a recall, that's why. And you
Councilman
can't do
Yee.
that in New York State, they don't have
I
that.
can't, Councilman Cullen, I can't hear.
I'm sorry.
Councilman Yee.
I vote against the budget, no.
Councilman Gross.
Yes.
Supervisor Wright.
We're taxed enough already. I vote
Passes
no.
3-2.
The motion carries, 3 votes to 2. The final draft budget with a 10% property tax increase will be, is adopted and will be effective next year.
9.5% it is, not 10%.
9.79.
Okay.
That's it, folks. My regrets.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
Okay. Recreation and Youth Services. It's this resolution.
It's what we deal with every week.
Unbelievable. They just 10% and that's it.
And none of them are here.
10% tax increase in a small community like this.
We got left
On top of everything else.
Where are all these
Because of their spending.
They won't even meet to discuss.
They won't even discuss it again. They won't even put it back on the table.
Outrageous.
10% increase. Overtax, unbelievable. With no concern. Despite the community.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. Funding would have come back. He allowed a town attorney X amount of dollars, continued feeding him, right? Thousands of dollars.
That's the
Town
gravy train.
clerk, the town clerk is X thousands of dollars. They won't even cut that line. I'd love to say $17,000 they wouldn't cut it. They keep funding their friends and friends and friends. Shame. Even to defer it to Saturday, 2 more days, they couldn't do it. They wouldn't even think about it.
Let's take a couple of minute break
we'll
to
take a
allow
10
the room to...
We'll take a 10-minute break.
Let's take a couple of minute break. Tonight for your patience during the adjournment. Item 6, Recreation and Youth Services. There was a public speaker on this earlier.
No, I think she was gonna just talk about the rec budget. I think she was
Okay.
confused. Right.
All right, there's a
It's just a recreation.
resolution in your...
There's a resolution here, so I can read that resolution.
Sure.
It's the OCFS Recreation and Youth Services Funding, November 18, 2010. Whereas the New York State Office of Children and Family Services, OCFS, has announced preliminary 2011 funding levels for local recreation and youth services, and whereas the town of Southeast is eligible for program funding from the OCFS for the 2011 calendar year, and whereas in order to obtain such funding, the OCFS requires that the town board authorize the submission of program applications. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the supervisor and director of recreation are hereby authorized to prepare, sign, and submit any and all applications or other documents which are necessary and proper in connection with the obtaining funding for local recreation and youth services through the OCFS and Putnam County Youth Bureau, and be it further resolved that any and all actions taken heretofore in connection with the application for funding from and through OCFS and the Putnam County Youth Bureau are hereby ratified and confirmed. Resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to forward a certified copy of this resolution to Joseph D. Marzo, Executive Director, Putnam County Youth Bureau, 110 Old Route 6, Building 3, Carmel, New York, 10509, Fort Worth.
I second. Roll call vote, please, Ruth.
Councilman Cullen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hudak?
Yes.
Councilman Yee?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Supervisor Wright?
Yes, motion
5-0.
carries unanimously. Item 7.
I have one comment about the resolution.
Yes, of course, Ray. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us tonight. It was nice to hear folks speak in your behalf.